Today we're going to learn about breathing, and specifically in terms of the benefit of stress relief. We want our breathing in our movement to allow our body to relax and to be completely natural so that we can get into that parasympathetic state, that rest and digest, where we really should be all the time. And the breathing is an important driver in that stress relief. Dr. Yang Ming talks about breathing in Tai Chi, and he describes it in 8 words. And those 8 words are slow, uniform, calm, continuous, soft, slender, deep, and long. Now I'm going to briefly talk about each of those pieces, but today what I really want to focus on is the recipe as a whole. We're going to think about each of these words as ingredients that go into a cake. And you know that the ingredients that go in are very important and they have to be in the right proportion, but the cake is so much more than just the sum of the parts of the ingredients, right? Cake is so much more yummy than just oil and flour and salt and sugar, right? So we're going to look at, like I said briefly, those 8 words. First one, slow. We want our breath to be nice and slow, not a fast, like we're doing an aerobic exercise. We want it uniform. In other words, the inhalation and the exhalation need to match somewhat. You're not going to breathe in slow and then just let it all out. They need to match. Calm. That's an easy word. We don't want ourselves to be anxious. Continuous. You want that breath to be flowing like water where it never really stops. We're going to breathe in to about 80% of our capacity, and we're going to breathe out till we have about 20% left. We're never going to go to the extremes. We want that breath to continue. Soft. So think of it in terms of a nice soft breeze, not a hard wind. Slender. This is a word that confuses most people, but if you think about it in terms of a slender string that is a continuous string, perhaps breathing in through a straw and breathing out through the straw, it would have to be a slender movement. Deep. We want our breath to be deep, not shallow. I often get asked about abdominal breathing for Tai Chi. Belly breathing, right? We don't want it to be shallow chest breathing, but we don't want it to be just belly breathing either. We don't want to separate this cavity. We want the cavity to be a whole, and we breathe into the whole cavity. Think of it as 360 degrees. We're breathing all the way up and down, all the way side to side, and all the way front to back. And the last word is long. Think about it in terms again of that continuous, long, slender string. It's not short little bursts of breath. So now I'll move up to the mirror and let's do preparation together. Your feet are about shoulder width apart. Let your hands relax in front of your body. Take a nice deep breath in and just let the arms float up and let the elbows drop. Now we're going to breathe in as we come up, and we're going to breathe out as we go back down. Think about pulling that breath all the way up from your feet, all the way through your body. Let it be expressed through the hands. And then think about that uniform breathing out. Don't just let it go. Think about keeping that inhalation and exhalation even. Now as we breathe in And breathe out. Remember what we talked about last week, that preparation is really preparing you for the whole form, right? So if this breath is preparing us for the whole form, we want it to be a package. We want to think about that breath flowing throughout the entire form and allowing that breath to help our body relax. The end goal of this is to make your breathing as natural as possible so that your body can just relax, and then we get rid of the stress. So I want you to come into wave hands like clouds now, without stepping first. Think about that rotation. And you know, this movement is such a relaxing movement all in itself. But when we add the breathing to it, we can add another layer of that relaxation. So if you want to think of a pattern as you're breathing, think about breathing in as you come across with one arm, and breathe out as you come across with the other arm. Now think about, since we're thinking of rotation and rotating on that central column, think about that 360 breathing. Try to get your breath to be deep and long and yet relaxed. You're filling up that cylinder just to about 80%. That's the deep that we want. And then you're letting it out nice and slow and calm and continuous, just to about 20%, because we don't ever want to run out of breath. Right? Let's take a few steps with our wave hands like clouds. So think about breathing in as you step left, and then breathing out as you're coming around to the right. Breathing in, just let your body feel that relaxation. Take one more step to the left. And now let's step to the right. And it doesn't really matter the pattern of your breathing. Remember, we want to look at it as a whole. We want to look at that cake and how that cake is yummy, and how this whole of breathing pattern is helping us relax. One more step. Now with the breathing, I want you to also think about opening up your joints, being nice and loose, letting the energy flow through your body, letting that oxygen flow through your body. Because remember, if you're tense, that creates a stagnant area. If you're locking your knees or if you're clenching your fist, the breath, the energy can't get into that area. So we want to be open and loose and natural. So let's do part the wild horse's mane and think about breathing in as we gather that energy. Let's put those two concepts together. Breathe in as you gather the energy. Breathe out as you release that energy. So you're holding the ball, gathering, breathing in, and then breathing out as you release. Holding the ball, breathing in, then breathing out. One more. So for the most part, we want our breathing to match our martial arts application. So let's look at pushing chi, where if you have that left foot forward, you're breathing in as you come towards your body, and you're breathing out as you push away. And if you think about it, the martial arts application, if I'm pushing on something, I want to be breathing out. We would never breathe in as we're pushing on something. We want that energy like that to breathe out. So breathe in and breathe out. As you do your pushing chi, try to think of that continuous flow of the breath. Try to let it match your flow from substantial to insubstantial. It's just like water, and it never really stops. And it's a gentle water. It's calm. Bring that foot back. Bring your right foot forward. And let's do pushing chi on this side. Again, what I want you to be thinking about is, yes, those 8 words, but I want those 8 words to become a whole for you, for your breathing, a whole package. Because the goal of regulating your breathing, as Dr. Yang Zhuangming says, the goal is to not have to regulate. So one more breath. And good. So the whole goal of understanding your breathing in Tai Chi is actually to get to a place where you don't have to think about it. My husband and I were actually practicing our Tai Chi this last Sunday, and we were at the point in the form where we're doing our wave hands like clouds, and I started to really think about my breath, but I was thinking about it in terms of, why can't I breathe as deep as I normally breathe? This is not normal. I don't know what's going on. And I got to my 3rd wave hands like clouds, and my brain was still thinking about why I couldn't be breathing. And I did a 4th one, and Jim looked at me and he goes, "What are you doing?" So yes, we do want to think about the breathing, but we don't want it to be our focus. We want it to support what we're doing as far as getting that stress relief in our Tai Chi. So while we need to think about the breathing, eventually we want this whole package to just become natural, and we can just let the relaxation occur. One of the movements that I personally struggle with in the breathing is repulse the monkey. If you think about repulse the monkey, this is a big ball of energy here, and you want to gather that energy. You're breathing in, and then you're compressing that energy. And right here at this point of where you're pushing your opponent away, you want to be breathing out. And unfortunately, I'm going to run this direction now. With my breathing, I can breathe in and start to breathe out. I can start to breathe in, but I'm still breathing in right here. And I don't really have to breathe out until right about here. That's okay. I don't want you to be crazy about how is it matching exactly with the movements. Eventually, all of this will come together, but you have to relax and you have to let that natural feeling come about. So let's practice our repulse the monkey just a little bit. You practice what feels good to you as far as breathing in and then thinking about breathing out, but keeping that breath continuous and uniform and deep and long. One more. During the week, one of our Open the Door certified instructors, Peggy in Alabama, she said, you're going to be talking about breathing. And my class was wondering, after we do kick, smash, and box the ears, and we turn, what's our breathing supposed to be? And I wrote back to her and I said, well, as I do my kick, smash, and box the ears, I'm gathering the energy here, breathing in. I'm breathing out as I kick, smash, and box. And then as I'm turning, I'm gathering, I'm breathing in. And that allows me to breathe out as I'm kicking. But as I told her in the email and as I'm telling you right now, just like with Repulse the Monkey, don't get caught up in, oh no, I'm not right with the martial arts application. Because what does that do? That makes you tense. That makes you think about, oh no, what am I doing wrong? I want you to relax and breathe in such a way that drives that stress relief, allows your body to relax. And as you practice, your natural breathing is going to start to flow with your movements, and your movements will start to match your breathing, and your breathing will start to match your movements. The sum of the parts is, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. That whole natural breathing is going to be much more beneficial to you than really struggling with each piece of the puzzle.